Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. About three topics, somehow intertwined. The first one is the interview conducted by Tucker Carlson with the Romanian banned candidate, Calin Georgescu. That's the first one, and he's going to make, I picked at least 3 points from that interview that Mr. Georgescu makes. I will share them with you. Very important and very relevant, and I would say ABC 1, 2, 3. People like us know that. People like them either ignore them or they're just baboons. They don't even know. Now, that's the first topic. The second topic is NATO, or according to the Russians, they're going to give us a number, a figure of how much NATO invested in Ukraine to fight the Russians in Kursk. That's the same thing NATO will probably have the Romanians fight Russia. Mr. Calin Georgescu said that NATO needs Romania to start World War III. Therefore, they're going to invest in the Romanian army or whomever as a, not necessarily Romanian army. Romanian army is, I think, nothing. But nevertheless, it's going to be a springboard from Romania to attack Russia, according to Mr. Georgescu, and I'm 100% agreeing with that. Then we're going to find out after the meeting of Ramstein by the allies, they decided to give Ukraine another dozens billion dollars. And guess who's in charge of that? You guessed it, the United Kingdom. I think they give them $21 billion, so almost 24 billion, just like this. And who's in charge, as I said. And the other topic is an F-16. Listen to this title. Ukrainian F-16 pilot, 26 years old, killed in action. What about the plane? What about the plane, the F-16? Yeah, I think he was just killed in action. Then he was over there, like, over there. And then the plane by itself just landed. And then the guy, boom, boom, oh, he's dead. It's okay. But the plane is intact. The plane did not die. All right, let's go to the first article. Man, these guys they really think we are baboons. Russia Today, April 11, 2025. NATO needs Romania to launch World War III, Georgescu. Calin Georgescu has claimed his opposition to the supposed plans led to his candidacy being invalidated by the globalist mafia. I would say yes, the matrix, the system, as I call him. Calin Georgescu, a former Romanian presidential he's gone. Former Romanian presidential candidate whose bid was controversially invalidated earlier this year, has claimed that NATO wants to, and I'm quoting, launch World War III from Romania. Well, it makes sense if you look at this. This is Ukraine right here. This is Russia in here. So this is Romania. This is the Crimean Peninsula down here. So this is Romania, the future biggest NATO military base, air base in Europe is going to be right here. You see this little thing? Right here, by Constanța. Right there, Nicolae Bălcescu, whatever it's called, the thing. Next move. In an interview with U.S. journalist Tucker Carlson, he said his staunch pro-peace stance was among the main reasons why he was barred from running for president. So, what did he say? Appearing at Carlson podcast on Thursday, the former Romanian presidential candidate alleged that NATO wants to launch World War III from Romania. The politician cited the fact that the largest military base... Oh, look, I didn't even read the article, as you can tell. The largest military base of NATO is in Romania, coupled with 380-mile, 612 kilometers long border that his country shares with Ukraine. And I'm quoting, in this situation, of course Romania is the asset for European Union, for French President Emmanuel Macron, in order to launch the war. And I'm quoting again, they want to turn NATO into an offensive force and are pushing for war. My position was exactly against them. According to Georgescu, and I'm quoting, all my campaign was just concentrated on peace. When I said the word peace, they immediately alerted because they need war. He said that the majority of Romanian people have this position against any intervention and any participation in war. And he says, I was denied the right to run for president by the globalist mafia. All right, well, that's one. This is the interview in here, and it's titled Banned Opposition. Let me just get it right here. Banned Opposition leader Calin Georgescu says Antony Blinken, Emmanuel Macron killed Romanian democracy. Now, Antony Blinken is the former Jewish Secretary of State of the country of the United States of America, and Emmanuel Macron is still the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. So, they killed democracy. They want war. By the title on it, let me just show you of the video. The thumbnail, by the way, they're pushing for war right there. And then the other one, who killed democracy, and they want to start to launch World War III from Romania. Main points. I agree with all three of them. I endorse all three of them. So when I get to Europe, I may be arrested on the airport. Or I don't know, we're going to do a cavity search in my ass. I don't care. It happened before. Just check. Just kidding. All right, let's go to the next topic, which is money. How much money, and how the West will use the baboons to fight their war. When I say the West, the interest in charge of the West, not the West. Because the West, if you take it as nations or countries, they're owned by financial, economic interest, industrial interest, military-industrial complex, energy, and others, big pharma, banks. So these are the guys in charge. So when you say the West, is the interests that are located and have their capital mainly made in the West. These are the guys. And they use the West technology and weapons and nuclear weapons threat in order to set the scores with whomever the interest want, using different countries. In this case, Ukraine is next. The country of Georgia was before in 2008, and the Russians smacked them. They tried in Chechnya as well. And they're going to try again, probably with the Romanians. They're going to try in Georgia again, in Azerbaijan, in Armenia. But Azerbaijan is still standing, holding like that. But Georgia and Armenia are the next ones again. And they could trigger this. In this case, Romania could be used with the NATO's money. Let me show you how much money I made a video yesterday, how much money they poured into Ukraine to fight the Russians. Now, I'm just going to show you how much money, according to the Russians, NATO poured in Kursk offensive. According to Sputnik, which is from 4 hours ago, today on the 12th of April, Ukraine's Kursk incursion robbed Western taxpayers of $7.8 billion in lost military equipment. I made a video, I think 2 days ago. They said it's like 2.8 billion, but now they say, wait, it's not only that. Moscow, Kiev lost in the Kursk region 5,500 units of equipment supplied by the West worth $7.8 billion. Sputnik calculations based on the data provided by the Russian Sever group of forces, as well as on the data on the equipment's cost from the open sources revealed on Saturday. Earlier, Sputnik, on the basis of the data from the Russian Sever group of forces, calculated that during the hostilities in Kursk region, Kiev spent more than 27 billion. What? 7, and now they say 27? Spent more than 27 billion, which is more than half of all foreign financial aid received by Ukraine from Western countries in 2024. So again, let's read. Is it what it says? Calculated that during the hostilities in the Kursk region, in Kursk, that's it. In Kursk, let's go to Kursk. Kursk is right here. Remember the offensive in Kursk? Right here? That's no more. It was in this area. Right here. And right now, everything you have is just one piece of shit here and another one right here. Which is more than half. According to open sources, the average cost of a tank is $4.5 million. A self-propelled artillery, that give you the prices here, how much is it? And they calculated that is about $7.8 billion. Part of the allocated funds was spent by the Ukrainian armed forces for supplemental staffing and partial repairs before sending the equipment into combat operations. Got it? Now, that's not all of it. Right here. New Voice of Ukraine. Allies pledge 21 billion euros, which is about $22 billion, in defense aid to Ukraine at Ramstein. But this article comes from New Voice of Ukraine, titled like this. You see it right here? UK leads new package. Allies pledge 21 billion is the same thing, but this, if you click on it, and I'm going to click on it, it's right here. But I wanted to make sure that we have UK leads. And UK is gonna right here, $22.6 billion in military assistance, with the UK alone plans to allocate 4.5 billion pounds, which is $5.6 billion in the military aid in 2025 alone. So Great Britain must have everything solved, the infrastructure good, roads, public service and all that, fantastic. It's just dogs with whatever in there, with donuts in their tails running around. You just pick them up and eat it for free. No, they're in garbage. Their economy is shit. Anyway, so this is what they prepare for Romania. The money is there, or the money are there. The money is there, are there is plural, right? Money are there. So the money are there. So the Romanians, all you need to do is to provide the location and your blood. And you will provide that according to Georgescu. And I think that's true. And that gets me to another BS, which is very weasel-like article. Ukrainska Pravda. This is from today. Saturday, 12th of April 2025. Ukrainian F-16 pilot, only the pilot, who was 26, was killed in action. That's it. The plane safely landed on the autopilot provided by, what's his name? Tesla, right? That's garbage. All right, let's see what this guy claimed. Pavlo Ivanov, a Ukrainian Air Force F-16 fighter jet pilot, was killed in action on Saturday, which is today. An interdepartmental commission has begun work to establish all the circumstances of the tragedies. I want to know if they say anything about the F-16 being shot or crashing, as they like to say it. The Air Force has provided no details concerning Ivanov's death, but in action that means he was piloting. Initially, Ukraine's Air Forces reported Ivanov was 21. How can you make this mistake? How many F-16s are probably in action, in the air at one point? They had like 7, 3, 8, 1. So that's exactly how many pilots you have. So you don't know the names, the ball's size, or the weight of the pilots? You don't know their age? 21? I don't think so. They have to decide which one died somewhere. Because I don't think the F-16, if it was shot down, the Ukrainian pilot was operating it. I think it's a Western one, and they had to decide what cadaver they have of a pilot that they can use their identity. That's me. I have evidence for that? No, but it's a war. They all lie. They will say that everything. That's Putin's brother over there was piloting it. Sorry, Putin's brother died in what, that was the Second World War or something, or whatever it was. His father fought or whatever. So my point is this. I think, and I will claim with no evidence, just the experience evidence, being around the block a few times and knowing sometimes I was about to say a few things. No, and slip over the tongue. Ooh. All right. So I think they're just make sure that they got a Ukrainian pilot that has no circumstance in which people can dig and say, no, this guy was shot, I don't know, 3 weeks ago he was on ice somewhere, unclaimed body. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't know if that's true. So this is what they tried to do. They, instead of saying it was Johnny Walker, okay, or I don't know, Jim Beam operating the F-16 that was shot down by the Russians, I suspect, or just crashed or something. They try to make the narrative, and the narrative will be this guy who's 21. Actually, no, he's 26 or 24 or whatever. 26 was it? Do you think they would give an F-16 to a 21-year-old pilot? That guy doesn't even know how to wipe his ass after he uses the bathroom. I guarantee you that. You don't give to a 21 an F-16, which is from I refuse to believe that statement. Do you believe it? Do you believe that the 21-year-old pilot, Ukrainian pilot, trained, will be allowed to fly an F-16? Have you been 21? Did you drive a car at 21? How fantastic you were. Well, man, I was fantastic. Anyway, all right. How much? And that's a car. I'm not talking about an F-16 or an airplane. Before he drove an F-16, how many Sukhois, how many MiGs he flew? And how many times? 3 times, 5 times, 20 times? Нет. That's a lie, I think, I suspect. All right, he says here, the message was later corrected to state that he was 26, for I think that reason. President Zelensky has commented on the pilot's death. But where is the plane? Quote, we need reports from the military on this combat situation. We are investigating all circumstances. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it. But the F-16, if the pilot died, I think the F-16 also died. And I don't think it was a 21-year-old, which now they changed. And I don't think it was even Ukrainian. I think they will provide a body, make sure that nobody, and if someone claims it, here is some US dollars for you. I'm exaggerating. Not exaggerating. I'm sorry, I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling things that happened during the war. If you think that's, I mean, be happy we give you money and we don't give lead to you. People will just, anyway. So here it is, another F-16 landed on its own, like this. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.